Welcome to another daily puzzle, and this one is a collaboration between Johan VA and Chess Tiger 787, so thank you guys for submitting this one. We're in the starting position, we're down a full rook, well, for just a pawn. So it is clear that we want to look at the white king now. The white king is conveniently out on h3 where our queen is looking at it, and so the question becomes, well, what is the right discovered check with the rook? Where do we want to go? Now let's first look at two moves which don't bring the win. The win is actually a mate in 4. Now, if we simply drop the rook back to g6, the king is going to go to g2. We have a check here. We have a few more checks. We have both queen h3 and queen h1 and queen f3 at our disposal, but none of them lead anywhere. The white king will always escape, so if you want, you can analyze this on your own, but we don't have a win there. Now there is one check that is actually quite tempting, rook h4. The idea that you might have if you play this move is that if white takes, we get this bishop check, bishop e7. White is forced to block if the king goes to g5. We have all sorts of mates here, queen h3, queen f5, queen g6, so you can choose your pick. So white has to block the check, and the problem that we run into here is that after bishop takes, queen takes, and king h3, we are not in time to take the rook on a1 because we run into a back rank checkmate, and therefore this position is only roughly even according to the engine. So if this was your idea, it's a good idea, but sadly it doesn't work. And after a rook h4 check, white doesn't even have to take. King g2 is even stronger here, and it looks like we are getting somewhere, but we are not. After queen e4, king f1, yes, we get a bunch of checks here. But after rook takes h2, the king goes on quite the journey, but in the end, it finds a safe home on h2, and the computer gives a winning advantage here for white, so there is no checkmate. So rook h4, while tempting, does not work. So where is the winning check? I think it's a move that makes a lot of sense because we remove one pawn out of the equation, we keep the rook active, so rook takes f4 is the move that we are looking for. Now white, if they block the check, queen takes g4 is an immediate mate, and if the king goes back to g2, now in comes the queen. Note what a great job our bishop from c5 is doing, cutting off the diagonal, so the king has to step back to h3, and now we end with this beautiful rook sacrifice, rook h4 check. White is forced to capture, and queen f3 is a beautiful checkmate.